Fade in.
The truth of storytelling is self-evident because ultimately, what is a story? What is the function of a story? A story is supposed to convey through narrative shared human experience. Whatever happens to the protagonist and what's going on within the body of a story, there's human truths there that the author of that story is hoping to convey to others, to the audience. So to me, stories have their own truths that are very self-evident. And one of the reasons that I think, for instance, I don't want to cause a huge stir, but The Last Jedi was not truthful when it came to the character of Luke Skywalker. Now, I understand what Rian Johnson, and I respect Rian Johnson. I've liked the films he's made. And by the way, he was dealt a hand of cards that J.J. Abrams gave him at the end of Force Awakens anyway.
I would be worried if everybody across the board was like, yeah, that was a good movie.
You go to episode 7, The Force Awakens. What does that movie do but completely destroy everything that's in Return of the Jedi? There is
literally everything. There's no progression.
There's thing. And it makes your characters that you've now followed look like idiots.
It invalidates everything they did. He lost some money in Falcon. He broke up with Leia. Not only did his relationship with Leia not go well, it was so bad they actually created the next base Hitler.
They've allowed the First Order to come about and to build a planetary-sized super weapon that had to have taken at least, we know the Death Star took about 20 years to build. So how long did it take to build Starkiller Base, and who allowed all those contractors out of their union contracts to go build that thing for the First Order?
And no one missed the missing star?
I blame the fact that Disney's mandate was probably like, okay, we have to make a new Star Wars saga, but we can't rely on Luke, Han, Leia, R2, 3PO. These are characters that are pushing 70. We're Disney. We can't do that.
I think it more has to do with the rights to the merchandise. Is that I think Lucas retained them, and they're like, if we can get rid of them, if we can get rid of them, then we can like start establish this new series for the next 50 years that we'll just cash checks on.
No, all of that was part of it. I think all of that was part of it, but that was corporate thinking. Score was talking about this from Film Threat. He goes, and I love this word. He said, "This is studio malpractice."
Yeah. The thing is, they could have had their cake and ate it too if they just respected the story. I mean, you do have to give their characters a journey. So if they're already the biggest heroes in the galaxy, what are they just going to become more heroic by the next, So it's like maybe the Republic has become kind of like this, maybe it's contentious in the government, or maybe Luke's gotten complacent and he's not really active and he's letting other heroes come or something. Like there's a way to do that story.
Yes, there is.
The complete lack of world building in The Force Awakens alone is disturbing. You didn't really consider what the Republic was before you started shooting this thing. Who's in power? Who isn't? Where's Luke? Where's Han? Like you're just gonna pull them out when you need them.
These are questions that you have to sit down and go, okay, 30 years have gone by in the Star Wars galaxy. I'll bet you we could pull 10 people that are watching this stream right now, put them in a room with the three of us and go, all right, let's run it down. And we could go around the room and everybody would have some pretty good ideas. I think what's really interesting is Force Awakens doesn't really have a story.
It doesn't.
It's all like you're watching various cut scenes of a video game.
It was a trailer.
In the opening of Force Awakens, they act like you're already supposed to know who Poe Dameron is. It's like you came in right after a commercial break of a TV show and you're playing catch up the whole time.
Who does he fly for? Is he for the Republic? He's with this new thing called the Resistance. What the fuck is the Resistance? What are you resisting against? You're in power.
These are questions. And when you're showing these movies to a corporation, Force Awakens made $2 billion. So the answer is, everybody who made Force Awakens was correct. They were right. But again, you're not taking into consideration that people love Star Wars and you're putting everyone's favorite characters back in that movie, and not in the way they wanted them back, but they didn't know that yet.
Look, success aside, they did this without a plan.
But having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most, critical thing.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's the biggest sin. Wouldn't you want, okay, what is the beginning, middle, of end so we can line up all our marketing? Wouldn't you want everything lined up? Wouldn't you need a beginning, middle, to end? Because we're going to spend about 10 years plus or whatever doing Star Wars movies and making merchandise and selling Star Wars parks. So we need a outline. What is your beginning, middle, and end? And that is the biggest sin. Even if it was an unsatisfactory beginning, middle, and end, and I'd argue the prequels kind of are already.
I'm sorry, sir. It's time for you to leave.
We would have been happy with a vision throughout, and there was none.
Well, JJ's just a bad writer. You don't just come up with an idea and imagine I'll pay that off later. You have come up with an idea and then you pay it off yourself and then you restructure it. And that's how you write something. It's like, I can't believe I have to explain this to one of the most famous and successful directors in history, but he doesn't seem to understand it.
For those who hate it, I could not respect your opinion more. And for those who love it, I question your sanity.
To fade out.